And the readings will now be given by Amanda from Missouri.
Bible. Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Deuteronomy. Be strong, and of a good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. He it is that doth go before thee. Exodus. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn and encamp before Pi-hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, over against Baal-zephon. Before it shall ye encamp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, They are entangled in the land, the wilderness hath shut them in. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled. And the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? And he took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and captains over every one of them. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again, no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face, and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued, and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all the Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, And the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. And the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians. And the people feared the Lord, and believed the Lord, and his servant Moses. 1 Chronicles. Be of good courage, and let us behave ourselves valiantly for our people, and for the cities of our God. And let the Lord do that which is good in his sight. Then shalt thou prosper, if thou takest heed to fulfill the statutes and judgments which the Lord charged Moses with concerning Israel. Be strong, and of good courage. Dread not, nor be dismayed. Psalms. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. In God I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge, until these calamities be overpast. For thy mercy is great unto the heavens, and thy truth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. I will now read correlative passages from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, prose works, and poems, all by Mary Baker Eddy. Moral courage is the lion of the tribe of Judah, the king of the mental realm. Free and fearless it roams in the forest. Undisturbed it lies in the open field, or rests in green pastures beside the still waters. Moral courage is requisite to meet the wrong and to proclaim the right. But how shall we reform the man who has more animal than moral courage, and who has not the true idea of good? Through human consciousness, convince the mortal of his mistake in seeking material means for gaining happiness. Reason is the most active human faculty. Let that inform the sentiments and awaken the man's dormant sense of moral obligation. And by degrees, he will learn the nothingness of the pleasures of human sense and the grandeur and bliss of a spiritual sense, which silences the material or corporeal. Then he will not only be saved, but is saved. Human codes, scholastic theology, material medicine, and hygiene fetter faith and spiritual understanding. Divine science rends asunder these fetters, and man's birthright of soul allegiance to his Maker asserts itself. I saw before me the sick, wearing out years of servitude to an unreal master, in the belief that the body governed them, rather than mind. The lame, the deaf, the dumb, the blind, the sick, the sensual, the sinner. I wish to save from the slavery of their own beliefs and from the educational systems of the pharaohs, who today, as of yore, hold the children of Israel in bondage. I saw before me the awful conflict, the Red Sea and the wilderness. But I pressed on through faith in God, trusting truth, the strong deliverer, to guide me into the land of Christian Science, where fetters fall and the rights of man are fully known and acknowledged. Truth talked and not lived rolls on the human heart a stone, consigns sensibility to the charnel house of sensuality, ease, self-love, self-justification, there to molder and rot. The noblest work of God is man in the image of his Maker. The last infirmity of evil is so-called man, swayed by the maelstrom of human passions, elbowing the concepts of his own creating, making place for himself, and displacing his fellows. A real Christian Scientist is a marvel, a miracle in the universe of mortal mind. With selfless love, he inscribes on the heart of humanity and transcribes on the page of reality the living, palpable presence, the might and majesty of goodness. He lives for all mankind and honors his Creator. Science is absolute and final. It is revolutionary in its very nature, for it upsets all that is not upright. It annuls false evidence, and saith to the five material senses, having eyes ye see not, and ears ye hear not, neither can you understand. To weave one thread of science through the looms of time is a miracle in itself. The risk is stupendous. It cost Galileo what? This awful price, the temporary loss of his self-respect. His fear overcame his loyalty. The courage of his convictions fell before it. Fear is the weapon in the hands of tyrants. Are you called to voice a higher order of science? Then obey this call. Go, if you must, to the dungeon or to the scaffold, but take not back the words of truth. How many are there ready to suffer for a righteous cause? To stand along siege, take the front rank, face the foe, and be in the battle every day. There is too much animal courage in society and not sufficient moral courage. Christians must take up arms against error at home and abroad. They must grapple with sin in themselves and in others, and continue this warfare until they have finished their course. If they keep the faith, they will have the crown of rejoicing. Animal magnetism, hypnotism, etc., are disarmed by the practitioner who excludes from his own consciousness and that of his patients all sense of the realism of any other cause or effect save that which cometh from God. No greater hope have we than in right thinking and right acting, and faith in the blessing of fidelity, courage, patience, and grace. Father of every age, of every rolling sphere, help us to write a deathless page of truth this dawning year. Help us to humbly bow to thy all-wise behest, whate'er the gift of joy or woe, knowing thou knowest best. Aid our poor soul to sing above the tempest's glee. Give us the eagle's fearless wing, the dove's to soar to thee. All merciful and good, cover the homeless heart. Give us this day our daily food, in knowing what thou art. Beloved Christian Scientists, take courage. God is leading you onward and upward.